Hey YouTube, ZiggyNo back with another video. Hope you're having a great day. It's a sunny, warm Sunday here for me. Dropping this video, talk a little bit about market correction. What is a market correction? What does that mean? What are the factors that are influencing this? And where do we go from here? Now, I want to say this. Look, this is not a negative video. Okay, this is an honest video. What you're going to get from my channel is honesty. I'm going to tell you the facts, the truth, what I'm seeing. And I'm going to point out stuff that I'm not seeing or not hearing people talk about. If you haven't already, please subscribe. Like, comment. I don't care if the comments are positive or negative. Bring them on, man. Let's talk. Let me go ahead and start talking a little bit about some factors. So first of all, I was watching this video earlier today. First of all, I thought this was interesting. I looked up what correction is. I thought it was important because a lot of people said, oh, it's a dip, it's a market dip, it's a correction. But I will explain to you what I think a sports card correction is as we go through the video. According to the dictionary here, a market correction is simply a 10% decline in the index or the fund or whatever that might be. You're going to see we're way beyond 10%. Okay, so I was watching the video right here. This is a Coin Bureau, and they're talking about inflation. And I'm not going to spend time talking about inflation, but inflation is definitely a major impact on what's going on in the economic world today, okay? Bench Clear actually talked about inflation, but this to me was really important to point out. During COVID, here's what happened as far as our expenses. What did we spend less on? Look at this. Entertainment, recreation, transportation, hotels, all dropped huge. Even healthcare was down. Apparel, general merchandise, just stopped buying. We couldn't buy it, right? The one thing that went up last year was groceries and alcoholic beverages. I'd probably add to that sports cards and drugs, right? I don't know, but you definitely know sports cards went up. This was an interesting fact I thought to point out, because I think one thing that if you have been watching the sports card game for the last year, whether you've been in here for years or not, if you've been watching the last year this time, we were saying, wow, why is everything going up so much? Wow, why is it so strong? And then we started rationalizing it, right? We were shocked and we rationalized, well, you know, COVID's here and everything's closed down. There were no sports. So all the gamblers couldn't gamble. They must be bringing their money in sports cards, right? There was nowhere to go travel, nothing to do, right? You couldn't do anything. You couldn't gamble. You couldn't buy alcohol. I mean, you couldn't buy all those things we had on the list. You couldn't do transportation or trips or anything. So people were staying home. Another thing that happened last year is we listened to a lot of online social media, and social media told us, go make money online, right? So a lot of people did. They started online businesses. They found ways to make money. That's also what led to sports cards. One of the reasons many people got into sports cards last year was because you could make money on it. You can make money on it by either buying and selling, or you can make money by having a channel and getting a bunch of subscribers, and holy crap, then you're monetized. Monetizing on a channel happened very quickly for a lot of channels last year. And I think we saw a rapid growth of just a lot of people coming to the hobby. Now, what has happened since then? Well, again, we're now experiencing the beginning of what we call normal, right? Where people are going to go back to doing normal things, which means we have to realize and rationalize that means there's going to be gambling and traveling and buying this and buying that. I know myself, right? I'm a collector. I say the word investor because I do buy and sell, right? But I'm a collector primarily, and I have a budget and so much money I can spend, and I can tell you that money's being used in different areas today. Where last year it could go more towards sports cards. That was all that was going on. But this year I have to make different decisions. There's things competing for my money, and I think every one of us is going through that. I think even the guys in sports cards know that, but they're not talking about that. They're like, well, they're talking about all the fundamentals. Well, the dip is here. Things are going to be back. The playoffs are coming. Wait till the playoffs. LeBron's going to win a championship. There's all these things we're telling people on why they should be buying, when I'm really saying maybe not. Maybe this is a healthy correction, and correction isn't just dip. It's in our behaviors and what we previously put value in. And I'll talk about that in a moment. But before we do, let me jump into some more proof for you. I want to share with you some other graphs, starting with these are from Star Stock. I blocked out Star Stock in the corner. I don't know why. That was an accident. This is Star Stock's. I think this is their baseball top 40. I'm gonna move this. You're not gonna see when I move it. It's a Star Stock MLB Emerging 20. So this is an index of 20 cards that they look at. I like the way they do this. They typically take the same type of card. I think it's Topps flagship, right? And they have these in either PSA 10s or PSA 10 of the Topps rookie card. And they show you the value of the card and what it's been doing going up and down. Right? If you look over the time, now the baseball one has been running as long. They started it this spring, but it's been relatively down to flat. I kind of suspect that baseball, I don't expect big things in baseball. At the same time, there are some big players in baseball. Just like before COVID, baseball is a sport where you'll have several guys who just give you a steady return, and then a few that blow your mind. A few normally is 1 or 2 per season. It's normally not a lot. And I don't think we know who those are this year, right? We're still waiting for Soto and Tatis, and all these guys have, big numbers and stuff like that, and they're doing well, right? Ohtani's doing well. There's a lot of young players doing very well. The other one I'll look at real quickly, and again, I'm just sharing you this data. I want to point out too, this is from May 17th. They have not run the report again as of this weekend. This is the basketball index. Now, this one's definitely been a bigger, I think, sign of what's been going on in the hobby. I think basketball is a bigger market space. I think it's #1 card in the hobby right now. And again, you can see after last year, after we had the summer of craziness, we kind of had a little dip going in the off season, starting the new season, and we had steady incline. A lot of that came to a head kind of in January for some reason. Now, to me, I think a lot of factors came into that. I think I go back to that inflation comments. I think to the world opening up. We got through the holidays, optimism in the new market, in the new world in 2021, and you start seeing the slow decline. So in my opinion, part of this is just money leaving and people becoming more educated and aware of what they are buying, right? Example, back here, people were buying Star Stock Bs and Cs because they could flip them on Star Stock for more money. In my opinion, I'm thinking to myself, why would you buy a card that you're being told is not going to give you a 9 or 10 if it was graded? That is a 7 or 8, which means if you sold it at a show, you're not going to get very much money because the person will look at it and go, hey, this card's got a ding corner. Those cards, in my opinion, should not have the value that people are paying for them then. That's been declining. Today, I mean, it's ridiculous. If you compare the price of a Prism rookie card on Star Stock today than it was 6 months ago, 5 months ago, it's night and day. And you almost feel like, well, who are the people who bought these, right? A lot of the people bought these too with the anticipation of grading them and getting them coming back with more value. Well, what's happening? The market's getting flooded. Those base cards are coming back. They're not quite as liquid as we thought they were. Like if you have 25 Luka Prisms, good luck getting maximum dollar on that. In fact, I don't want to go off the top note here, but in these downward corrective markets, this is where in that whole market cap crap is absolute BS. Because let me give you an example, right? Let's go over here. Let's take a card who's on the decline. Let's take Deshaun Watson. And actually, Deshaun Watson's on the rise. Okay, so let's take Luka. Let's say I've got 10 Lukas. You think I can get $800.36 for every one of them if I did a deal today? No, I'm not. I'm probably gonna have to do a discount or do each one and pay more fees. I'm not taking down that number. So market cap crap is absolute crap. If someone's telling about market cap, again, I mentioned this in the last video, that's a warning that they are there to sell you something. Okay, they're selling you bogus information. They're trying to make themselves sound smart. I don't like the market cap stuff. And this is why. Again, cards don't sell all the cards at that last price. That never happens. The last price is just who one person was willing to pay that last price. Often there's 2 or 3. There's seldom thousands of them. Follow me? Okay, so while we're here, I'll take a look at this index. These are some of the Prism base cards that I follow. And look at this. Ja has had a bump, and so is Tatum, right, on some of their play. In the last 7 days, their price indexes are up. Now, overall, look, there's still pretty big declines, and that's taking into account their recent rise, right? Here's one that just still shocks me. I'm a fan of Luka as a fan. I bought his cards raw because I had them when I ripped them in packs. I never paid more than, I think, $100 for a Luka card, 140, I believe. The fact, though, his card is worth the same amount as or less than LaMelo Ball Prism bait, it just blows my mind. Now, I'm sure somebody's being told, look at the low pop count, man, only 81. Oh, man. See, this is an example where I'll tell you pop count can be used to manipulate. This pop count number might not be higher than Luka's. People might not send as many in because that was during the boom grade, right? Everybody graded a Luka. 17,000 10s, right? Does that tell me that his card is more scarce than his card? No, absolutely not. I know as an educated member in the hobby that his card is more printed than Luka's card because every year they print more. So right there, that logic, that will correct the market in the future. We will correct that. It'll take time. And again, this will take time because you've got to weed out a lot of the weak and the thin. I'm sorry, I don't want to go off too much tangent. I went over these indexes. I want to share the Card Ladder index. Card Ladder has one of these as well. I don't know if you can see this. They call it the CL50 index. Just like all these other guys, this is very flat for a couple reasons. First of all, it's only 3 months worth of data. I can't get 6 months or 1 year or 2 years because I'm not a member of Card Ladder. They don't accept my money. where if I look at these guys, right, these guys are showing me a larger piece of data, right? This is what, 6 months of data, so that's pretty cool. Also, they're picking different cards, right? These are only base prisms. Card ladders can be picking different stuff. Who knows what card ladder picks to put in their index? I will say card ladder, in my opinion, very shady. I'm not a fan of card ladder. I'll say it over and over. I don't. There's so much manipulation in the card ladder community, in my opinion. And again, I'd be happy to talk to you about that later on if you want to. But let's see, what are you talking about? I can point it out to you. It is blatant. Anyway, here's another one. This is Card Genie, and this is their indexes. And I thought these were cool because, again, this is showing you a pretty good set of data, 3 months of data, which I thought is interesting when I compared to this 3 months of data. Look at that. Because who's selling you something? Well, they're both selling you something, but this guy will sell you, he'll sell ice and Eskimo. This guy, he's selling too, but he's giving you, I think, more realistic data. Here's a sports card index. Here's the baseball index. And here's the football index. All these, again, guys, I'm just trying to share with you some graphs, right? I want you to see, people aren't talking about this. They're just, oh, it's a dip. It's a correction. Things are going to be back as soon as blah, 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 blah. I disagree. I'm going to call it right now. I've been calling this year. I think we'll see this, right? I think there's money to be made in the hobby. So don't tell me, oh, Ziggy's saying you can't make money. No, you can still make money. In fact, because you have a lot of people who are stuck, who are way upside down, you're going to see desperateness in the hobby. In fact, I was listening to Because I'm Carlos this weekend talk about that. And he said he wants to see real pain like, let this card market continue to run down like this through July. That would blow people's mind. And I agree. If we stay down through the playoffs, through an NBA championship, and those cards don't come back or at least make a bump, that's some pain for some people. Here's one this is what I will call the correction card. This is Giannis's base prism. I know you probably can't see that. I'm blocking it for some reason with my camera here. This is Giannis base prism. Here you can see right down there. PSA 10. I will call this the card of the correction. Okay, if I'm correct, this card will be back down around here by the end of the year. And that means around, I'd say 1,000 to 1,500 is where this card is headed to be. Okay. And that's where it probably should be. $1,000 to $1,500 card with maybe a small, steady increase. It never, ever should have hit this high. That makes no sense. And in fact, I think long-term, this card could actually go down because I don't see Giannis ever getting a ring. He might get a ring when he joins a super team in his 15th year, like some of these guys like to do, but he's not going to earn one, in my opinion. I'm sorry. I like him. Great player. Glad you're staying in the Bucks, but no one's going to the Bucks to win a championship. And I want to point that out. A lot of this price right here, this was based on us believing he was going to win a championship in the next few years. Well, he didn't win one in 2020, and he's not going to win one in 2021. So right now, if you're buying his card today, you're buying believing that he's going to win a championship when. So this is a hard sell for me. I'm not even gonna lie to you. I totally would sell this card if I had it. I do not have it. This card right here is Zion, which I'll bring this to your attention. I've heard people talk about Zion. I'm still bullish on Zion. I'm not buying him. I'm holding him. And the reason I'm bullish is that I believe the NBA, like one of the big things I think people don't talk about it's all about performance. Well, the NBA, in my opinion, has been and will be about putting butts in seats and selling merchandise. And because of that, they do a very good job catering to certain leagues. And I'm not going to go on the whole conspiracy thing, but let's be honest, guys. It's probably going to be Lakers and Nets in the finals, not because they're the two best teams. It's because that's the path the NBA wants us to see. Just like I believe the NBA wants the torch to be passed from LeBron to Zion as the face of the NBA. There are a lot of young, great players in the NBA. Zion has a special face for the NBA. And I'm just saying that I don't mean that in any wrong way. He's young. He's a baller, big, strong, whatever you want to say. He is the face of what the future of the NBA is going to be. It would have to take a major fumble for him not to be that. Okay. Nike's invested hundreds of millions of dollars. Other franchise, saying there's so much money. So to me, buying Zion, you're basically just buying onto the brand. Maybe the safest bet in the hobby. And do not take that from me because I'm very negative on, I think a correction's coming, and it wouldn't surprise me if Zion's card's a couple $100, but I do think if there's one card I want to have 10 years from now to talk about this era, it's probably going to be Zion. It really is. I don't see a new face of the NBA. Some might argue, will it be Bronny? I don't think so, right? I don't think he's going to be. Most of the time, these players don't live up, and not all the time. You got Steph, but most of them don't live up to their father. So we'll just leave it at that. I think I've hit on one more quick graph I wanted to share with you that I think is important, and this is the recent sale of the Jordan. This is another card that's funny. A year ago, we called this the index card. As the Jordan PSA 10 does, so does the hobby. So when the PSA Jordan went from around, I don't know, $15,000, $20,000, $30,000 last year, right? I remember watching Jeff talk about buying a 9.5, I think for 20,000 or 15,000, right? Which would probably sub the PSA 10 on a crossover. That card then went to, I believe, 100,000 during the Last Dance, right? I think it hit 100,000. Then I think over the summer we had another hit where it hit a couple 100,000, and then I believe it hit 400 something thousand. Someone told me 700, but I think the 700 was for 2 cards. So I think its all-time high was 400,000. Now I want to point out a couple things happened then. We still had the momentum of COVID, but we also had the introduction of the fractional ownerships. I think fractional ownerships are going to be done in the next 2 years. I already see them on the decline right now. And I think they're one of the most, and I don't mean this in the wrong way, guys, but one of the most manipulating platforms out there. They talk about, well, we've beaten the stock market. Oh, we're doing better than this. Oh, you get a piece of history. Man, remember, every one of those transactions, there's a fee or something associated with it where the company that runs it makes money. The company that runs it makes money whether or not that card goes down. And that is a problem, in my opinion. That is going to drain on the value of that. You cannot do that, right? I'll go back to breaking. If you and some friends want to get together and buy a card together, 10 of you, great, because you're not charging each other for fees, right? And you're not going to charge each other for fees if one of you decides to sell or whatever. But when you bring in those fractionals, man, they fractionalize it up to tenths of a point. They're doing it because they make money, and that's going to leave. I think they help bump up a lot of this auction pricing. Anyway, Jordan sold for 300,000. Is that a correction? I think it's still coming down. I do. I think there's another auction this weekend, I think on Golden, and maybe I'm wrong. Maybe as I'm speaking, that one went for more, but I do think this card's going to correct. I think it's more around $250,000 in the short term. I think in the long term, 250,000 still. I just don't see why I'd want this card. There's still sealed wax to this stuff. There's still a lot of fakes to this stuff. It's easy to make a fake one of these, a fake slab, and put these on the market. So that would also concern me as well. I would definitely not buy this unless I got a lot of, and be honest, there's no way in hell I'd buy this card. I'm not even gonna lie to you guys. If I were to win the freaking lottery, this is not a card that I'd want to own and be like, oh, this is my grail card. It's just not to me. And I love Jordan, but this card to me, I just look as very, very, I think I'd rather have like a PSA 1 or 3. If I want to have one, I just have one that's weathered, so it has a story with it. It's just me. Hey, I'm a collector. What do I know? Anyway, guys, I really appreciate it if you stuck around this long to listen to me talk about the correction. And I am going to put up a follow-up video on how to make money in the correction. And it's not an investor. I'm just going to go back to the basics. I did some videos last year talking about the 10 rules in sports cards because we're breaking all the rules. Well, now we're going to go back and look at those rules and talk about them and see which ones we broke, and which ones we did, and which ones we should keep. And I'll talk about, again, systems, right? There's still ways to have fun and make money in the hobby. Guys, I really appreciate it. If you haven't already, please subscribe, like, comment, all that good stuff. Have a great day. Stay